I'm wondering what the legislature is going to do if OSPI insists on bridges over math expressions. And I'm also wondering what the financial backup will be for the recommended curricula. What kind of monies will be made available for schools that want to adopt the new recommended curriculum?
If the superintendent does not take the State Board of Education's recommendations, that would generate a lot of interest by a lot of legislators. Can I tell you exactly what that would be? No. But we would certainly make our displeasure with that known, and there are a number of ways to do that.
We don't talk about polite company.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not.
You know, the Sopranos got nothing on us. So we're out of sorts, you just don't want to be there. The second thing is in terms of curriculum swap outs, you know, we get a good curriculum, and then when people go through their adoption cycle, the tentative number that we came up with on swapping out math curriculum was like $120 million. And it's probably a little bit more than that. And that's just the curriculum. That's not the professional development. That's not some of the other instructional materials. So it's got a very large price tag to it. So what we have to do is we need to go through what the natural adoption cycle is for school districts already and find out, you know, who would be the leading on that curve. And then we would incrementally align money with that, theoretically. I mean, we'd have to get the money. There would have to be a commitment to actually do it. Ross and I are committed to doing it. Other people say we should spend $120 million on something else. It's the same fight we fight on every issue.
Next.
You want to stand right in front of me?
Well, go ahead and say your short speech.
My name is Fraser Burgundy, and I'm from the Math Learning Center in Salem, Oregon, and we just happen to publish Bridges in Mathematics. And my intent in being here is not to defend the program. We believe in the program. I can show you results. It's a great program. But I let Rick know that I was going to be here early because like I said, I don't want to defend it, I just want to bring some clarity to the Bridges program. I know one of the things that Rick had on his, does this sound? Yeah. That Rick had up.
That's better.
I was talking right now. Rick had up on his overhead was the length of 1,100 pages. And the reason it's 1,100 pages is because
You have to talk right into the top.
Back to the top here? Yeah. Sorry. Reason it's 1,100 pages is, one reason is that publishers produce programs and then they try to sell them in the state. We're kind of the same way. But what we've also done is create supplements for the Washington State standards, the new standards. Because what we wanted to do is not just give you the same old program that we give every single state. We wanted to have activities in here that met every single standard that you have in the state. And that's why we came out at the top two. That cutoff for the top two that the OSPI did was based on the criteria they set up. And 70% of that particular evaluation had to do with, did we meet the state curriculum standards? And yeah, we did really well. And that's why we ended at the top two. And that's also why we also have such a voluminous program in some ways.
We would really appreciate a list page for page of what you shouldn't teach out of the other 1,100 you've already provided, that you would replace with the page that you're adding.
And it's there.
We need to have that, and we need to have it explicit.
It's right here.
Okay.
You have it.
That's
It's what you use to evaluate the program.
No. What we want is we want page for page what was in there that we didn't need, that we're replacing the additional page with. Because if you have 1,100 pages and you add another 100, that's a 1,200 page curriculum. I want to know about that.
Now, I've been attending the Wassel work group sessions, and during the last session, they started talking about the end of course exams. And I don't know if we're gonna go off the shelf or if they're gonna be specifically written. But if they're specifically written again, it appears to me we're getting into the same problems that exist with the WASL. The present WASL, even though it's a comprehensive exam. And that we would be better off buying off the shelf tests, which would be a lot cheaper than developing our own.
End of course assessments, the WASL test is given at the end of the year. And end of course assessments, once you've known the material or been instructed in the material, then you would have the test. Okay? And based upon that review, you could then move into remediation. Essentially, end of course testing is a diagnostic aspect. It is also something where it's cumulative. You actually build the building blocks. You can see the building blocks, the progress made. And so it's about the testing process. All the vendors, they can do end of course assessment. I mean, that's not that big a deal. I mean, but I would agree. We would not like to get back into the micro writing WASL style of end of course assessments. We can take that off the shelf in a lot of different places. I have to apologize. I have to go pick somebody up. So I'm going to have to take off, but everybody knows where to get me. They've got my legislative address. And keep up the good work, because where's the math and everybody's interest around that really was one of the most powerful sort of grassroots initiatives statewide. A lot of people, concerned parents, teachers, small business people, said this is a real problem. And they didn't have to get to know everybody else. They knew that they were going to work with whoever else believed that this was a problem. And then everybody came together. And we got really significant change in a relatively short period of time. In Olympia, that's really tough. Y'all did a great job. Thank you for everything you do.
District math curriculum right now for K through 5, we're looking at right now on the list of math connects and bridges. So math expressions, when I say tomorrow, I think we ought to add math expressions. What's the risk to the district as far as getting money for the tuition if the new list isn't adopted? Or what's the risk on the other side if we do accept bridges and then bridges falls off and is no longer on the top 2?
Well, this is something where I'm going to field it on behalf of the legislators. Given the current economic climate, the odds that we will be providing money in this next biennial budget for curriculum, I mean, they're still trying to get elected, but the odds are low.
One other comment about end of course assessments, addressing, I don't think Glenn really answered clearly whether the intention was to go with off-the-shelf products. And all of the discussions in the math panel have been along that vein. So we get away from this homegrown testing because one of the problems, there are two major problems with it. One is it doesn't inform instruction. And the second is we have no way of comparing our students with other students across the country, which is exactly what an off-the-shelf norm test would provide. And so I think and I think that's where we're going. Yeah, that's where we're going.
That's what the legislature wants.
I'd like to close. By all means, people can still talk, but I just want people to feel like they can get up and leave if they've had enough. We're happy to stay.
Thank you for
We'll turn off the microphones. Thank you so much.